Chapter 29. When we reached the summit, there was just enough time to freshen up. Carla changed into a sky blue salwar kameez and joined us for the last of the lunch that had been served. As we finished, an announcement was made that Idris was on the mountain. I looked back toward the steep slope, but everyone else turned to stare at the caves. "There's another way up this mountain?" I asked Carla. "There's another way up every mountain," she purred. "Everybody knows that." "Okay." Within seconds, an older man I assumed to be Idris and a younger man, both of them wearing white kurta tops and loose, sky blue calico pants, appeared on a path that led past the women's cave. The younger man, a foreigner, carried a hunting rifle slung over his shoulder. "Who's the gun?" "That's Silvano," Carla replied. "What's the rifle for?" "To frighten tigers away." "There are tigers?" "Of course. On the next mountain." I wanted to ask how close the next mountain was, but Idris spoke. "Dear friends," he said, clearing his throat. "That's quite a climb, even on the easy path. I apologize for being late. A squabble of philosophers set upon me this morning." His deep, gentle voice tumbled from his chest and hummed into the air. It seemed to roll around us on the mesa. It was a voice that comforts. A voice that could wake you softly from a nightmare. "What was their dilemma, Master G?" a student asked. "One of them," he replied, fishing a handkerchief from the pocket of his kurta and wiping his forehead, had produced an argument to prove that happiness was the greatest of all evils. The others couldn't defeat his argument. So, naturally, they became desperately unhappy. They wanted me to relieve them of their distress by refuting the argument. "Did you do it, Idris?" another student asked. "Of course. But it took forever. Would anyone but philosophers fight so hard against the proposition that happiness is a good thing?" And then, when their minds were convinced that happiness was a good thing, the sudden surge of all their pent-up happiness was too much for them. They lost control. Has anyone here seen hysterical philosophers? The students looked around at one another. "No?" Idris prodded. "Just as well. And there's a lesson. The more slender your grip on reality, the more dangerous the world becomes. On the other hand, the more rational the world you find yourself in, the more carefully it must be questioned. But enough of that, let's get started. Gather around and get comfortable." The devotees and students brought stools and chairs, ranging them in a semicircle around Idris, who lowered himself gently into an easy chair. The young man with the rifle, Silvano, sat a little behind Idris and to his right. He sat on a hard wooden stool, his back rigid and his eyes passing back and forth among us. Very often his eyes stopped on me. Abdullah leaned in to speak to me. "The Italian with the rifle, Silvano, is watching you," he whispered, with a little flick of his head. "Thanks. Don't mention," he replied gravely. "I see that we have a new visitor to our little study group," Idris said, looking at me. I turned to see if he wasn't staring at someone behind me. "It's a pleasure to have you with us, Lin. Qadrbhai spoke of you quite often, and I'm very glad you could come." Everyone turned to look at me. They smiled and nodded, welcoming me. I looked back at the holy man, resisting the temptation to say that Qadrbhai, for all the many conversations on philosophy we'd shared, had never once mentioned Idris to me. "Tell us, Lin," he asked, smiling widely, "are you looking for enlightenment?" "I didn't know anyone lost it," I replied. It wasn't exactly rude, but it wasn't as respectful of the famous teacher's dignity as it should have been. Silvano bristled, clutching reflexively at the barrel of the rifle. "Please, master," he said, his deep voice riffling spiky malice. "Allow me to enlighten him." "Put the rifle down, Romeo," I replied, "and we'll find out who sees the light first." Silvano had a lightly muscled, athletic frame and moved it gracefully. Square-jawed and square-shouldered, with soft brown eyes and an expressive mouth, he looked more like an Italian fashion model or movie star than a holy man's acolyte, or so it seemed to me then. I didn't know why he didn't like me. Maybe the cuts and bruises on my face made him think he had to prove something. I didn't care. I was so angry at Khalid and fate that any fight would do. Silvano stood. I stood. Idris waved his right hand gently. Silvano sat, and I slowly sat down again. Please forgive Silvano, Idris said gently. Loyalty is his way of loving. I think the same might be said of you, isn't it so? Loyalty. Lisa and I couldn't find a way to be in love with each other. I was in love with Carla, a woman who was married to someone else. I'd resigned my heart from the Brotherhood of the Sanjay Company, and had a conversation about murdering Sanjay in the same day. Loyalty is something you need for things you don't love enough. When you love enough, loyalty isn't even a question. Everyone was staring at me. Sorry, Silvano, rough decade, I said. Good. Very good, Idris said. Now, I need you two boys to be friends. So, I will ask you to come here, both of you, in front of me, and shake hands with one another. Bad vibrations will not help us move toward enlightenment, will they, boys? Silvano's square jaw clenched on his reluctance, but he stood up quickly and took a step to stand before Idris. His left hand held the rifle. His right hand was free. A foolish impulse to resist being told what to do held me in place. The students began to murmur, their hushed voices buzzing between them. Idris looked at me. He seemed to be suppressing a smile. His brown eyes glittered, more brilliant than the jewels in Khalid's attic. Silvano squirmed, anger and humiliation pressing his lips together hard. White ridges formed around his mouth. I didn't care, in that empty instant. The Italian had started it, by asking for permission to enlighten me. I was happy to show him some lights of my own. And I was happy to leave the mountain, the sage, Abdullah and Carla, that minute. Carla slammed an elbow into my ribs. I stood, and shook hands with Silvano. He made a contest of it. Thank you, Idris said at last, and we released our knuckle-crushing grip. That was enlightening. Now, take your places, and let's get started. I returned to my chair. Abdullah was shaking his head slowly. Carla hissed a single word at me. Idiot. I tried to frown, but couldn't, because she was right. Okay, Idris said, his eyes glittering. For the benefit of our visitor, what is rule number 1? Rule number 1. There are no gurus. The entire group responded, quickly and firmly. And rule number 2? Rule number 2. You are your own guru. And rule number 3? Rule number 3. Never surrender the freedom of your mind. And rule number 4? Rule number 4. Inform your mind with everything, without prejudice. Okay, Idris laughed. That's enough. Personally, I don't like rules. They're like the map of a place, rather than the place itself. But I know some people do like rules, and need them, so there you are. 4 more damn rules. Maybe rule number 5, if you get there, should be there are no rules. The group laughed with him, settling more comfortably on their stools and chairs. Idris was something more than 70 years old. Although he walked with the help of a long staff, his thin but healthy frame was flexible. From time to time he crossed his legs effortlessly on the easy chair, without the assistance of his hands. His curly, gray hair was cut close to the scalp, throwing all of the attention to his eloquent brown eyes, the magnificent swoop of his hooked nose, and the swollen crest and quiver of his dark, full lips. If I recall correctly, Carla, he began softly, our last discussion was on the subject of obedience. Is that right? It is, Master G. Please, Carla, and all of you. We are one searching mind here, and one heart in friendship. Call me Idris, as I also call you by your names. Now, tell us your opinion on the subject, Carla, finally. Carla looked back at the teacher, her eyes a forest on fire. You really want to know, Idris? Of course. Really? Yes. Okay. Adore me. Worship me. Obey me. Me, that's all God ever says. The students gasped, but Idris laughed with open delight. Huh. And now you see, my young seekers after wisdom, why I so highly prize Carla's opinion. The students murmured among themselves. Carla stood, walked to the edge of the mesa, and lit a cigarette. She stared out at the surrounding hills and valleys. I knew why she'd left. She was uncomfortable with being told that she was right. She'd rather be considered clever or funny, even if she was wrong. Adoration is submission, Idris said. All religions, like all kingdoms, require you to submit and obey. Of all the tens of thousands of faiths that have existed since the beginning of human time, only those that could enforce obedience have survived. And when obedience decays, the devotion that depended on it becomes as remote as the once great religion of Zeus, Apollo, and Venus, which for so long ruled all the world it knew. But, Idris, are you saying we should be proud, and not obedient? A young man asked. No, I'm not. Of course not, Idris replied softly. And you're quite right to raise the point, Arjun. What I'm saying has nothing to do with pride. There is much to be gained by lowering your head and falling to your knees once in every while. None of us should ever be so proud that we cannot fall on our knees and admit that we do not know everything, and that we are not the center of the universe, and that there are things for which we should be justly ashamed, and also happily grateful. Do you agree? Yes, Idris, several students replied. And pride, the good pride that we need to survive in a brutal world, what is it? Good pride does not say I am better than someone else, which is what bad pride says. Good pride says for all my faults, I have a born right to exist, and I have a will, which is the instrument I can use to improve myself. In fact, it is quite impossible to change and improve yourself without a measure of good pride. Do you agree? Yes, Idris. Good. What I'm telling you is this. Kneel in humility, kneel in the knowledge that we are all connected, every one of us, and every living thing. Kneel in the knowledge that we are all together in this struggle to understand and belong, but don't blindly obey anyone, ever. Do you young people have anything to offer on this point? There was a pause, as the students looked at one another. Lin, our new visitor, Idris asked me quickly. What do you say? I was already there, thinking of prison guards who'd beaten men in prison. Enough obedience will let people do just about anything to other people, I said. I like that answer, Idris said. Praise from the wise is the sweetest wine. I felt the warmth of it inside. Obedience is the assassin of conscience, Idris said softly, and that is why every lasting institution demands it. But surely we must obey something? The Parsi student asked. Obey the laws of the land, Zubin, Idris replied, except where they would cause you to act in a manner that is not honorable. Obey the golden rules. Do unto others, as you would have them do unto you, and do not do to others what you would not have them do to you. Obey your instinct to create and love and learn. Obey the universal law of consciousness, that everything you think or say or do has an effect greater than zero, even if it's only an effect on yourself. Which is why you must try to minimize the negative in what you think and say and do, and maximize the positive. Obey the instinct to forgive and to share with others. Obey your faith, and obey your heart. Your heart will never lie to you. He paused, looking around at the students, many of them writing notes on what he'd said. He smiled, then shook his head and began to cry. I looked at Abdullah. Is he crying? Abdullah nodded and then flicked his head at the students. Several of them were crying, too. After a while, Idris spoke though his tears. It took so long, 14 billion years, for this part of the universe to bring into being a consciousness, right here, capable of knowing and actually calculating that it took 14,000 million years to make the calculation. We don't have the right to throw those 14 billion years away. We don't have the moral right to waste or damage or kill this consciousness. And we don't have the right to surrender its will, the most precious and beautiful thing in the universe. We have a duty to study, to learn, to question, to be fair and honest and positive citizens. And above all, we have a duty to unite our consciousness, freely, with any free consciousness, in the common cause of love. I came to hear that speech many times from Idris, and in modified forms from some of his students, and I liked it, in all its forms. I liked Idris the mind. But what he said immediately after that speech made me like Idris the man. Let's tell jokes, he said. I'll go first. I've been wanting to tell this all day. Why did the Zen Buddhist keep an empty bottle of milk in his refrigerator? Anyone? No? Give up? It was for guests who drink black tea. Idris and the students laughed. Abdullah was laughing out loud, happily and freely, something I'd never seen in all the years that I knew him. I painted that laugh on a wall of my heart. And in a small, Simple way I loved Idris for releasing that happiness in my stern friend. Okay, my turn. Arjun said excitedly, standing to tell his joke. One by one the other students stood to tell their jokes. I left, threading my way through the rows of students to find Carla, at the edge of the mesa. She was writing notes from the lecture Idris had given, but she wasn't using a notepad. She was writing the notes on her left hand. Long sentences looped their way back and forth across her hand, up along the length of each finger to the nail, and down again to the knuckle, and then in between the fingers, across the webbing and up again, between two more fingers. The words continued on the palm side of her hand, until the whole span of skin, hand and fingers, was covered with a tattooed web of words, like henna decorations on the hands of a Bombay bride. It was the sexiest thing I'd ever seen in my life. I'm a writer. I found the strength at last to move my eyes and stare out at the forest, already smothered by the heavy swell of cloud. So that's why you asked me to tell you a joke, I said. It's one of his things, she replied, raising her eyes to stare ahead. He says that the one sure sign of a fanatic is that he has no sense of humor. So, he gets us to laugh, at least once every day. Are you buying it? He's not selling anything, Lynn. That's why I like him. Okay, what do you think of him? Does it matter what I think? Everything about you matters, Carla. We faced one another. I couldn't tell what she was thinking. I wanted to kiss her. You've been talking to Ranjit, she said, a frown searching my eyes. I stopped thinking about kissing her. He's a talkative guy, your husband. What did he talk about? What would he talk to me about? Don't play games with me. She was speaking softly, but it was still like a trapped animal's cry. She calmed down. What, exactly, did he tell you? Let me guess, I murmured. You and Ranjit do this to people for kicks, right? She smiled. Ranjit and I do have an understanding, but not about everything. I smiled. You know what, I said. To hell with Ranjit. I'd agree with you, she said, if I didn't think I might have to join him there one day. She looked away at the clouds, churning over the distant city, and the first rain showers simmering and frothing at the edges of the forest. I was confused, but I was mostly confused when I talked to Carla. I didn't know if she was telling me something intimate about her and Ranjit, or talking about us. If she was talking about Ranjit, I didn't want to know. Big storm, I said. She looked back at me quickly. It was because of me, wasn't it? What was because of you? She shook her head, and then stared at me again, her green eyes the only bright things left in the gray sky world. What Ranjit talked to you about, she said, suddenly determined and clear. He's worried about me, I know. But the fact is, he's the one who needs help, not me. He's the one in danger. She stared into my eyes, trying to read my thoughts. I was reading what looked like pure and honest concern for her husband. It hurt more, somehow, than Concannon's club. What do you want, Carla? She frowned, let her eyes fall from mine, and then raised them to stare at me again. I want you to help him, she said, almost as if it were an admission of guilt. I'd like him to stay alive, for a few more months, and that's not a sure thing. A few months? Years would be acceptable, but a few months are essential. Essential for what? She looked at me, trying out emotional responses, before relaxing in a smile. My peace of mind, she said, not telling me anything. He's a big boy, Carla, with a big bank account. I'm serious. I stared back at her for a moment, and then smiled my way into a soft laugh. You're something, Carla. You're really something. What do you mean? All that stuff, this morning, asking me if I came up here because of you, just to throw me off the track, because you came up here to ask me to help Ranjit. Do you think I'm lying to you? Talking about keeping Ranjit alive for a few months is the same as talking about him being dead in a few months. It's pretty cute, Carla. You think I'm manipulating you? It wouldn't be the first time. That's not. It doesn't matter, I said, not smiling. It never did. I love you. She tried to speak, but I put my fingers across her lips. I'll ask around, about Ranjit. Thunder silenced her reply. Thunder rumbling into blasts, shaking the forest trees. I gotta go, I said, if I'm gonna beat that storm back to the city. I have to make sure that Lisa's okay. I turned to leave, but she held my wrist. It was the tattooed hand. The hand covered with a tracery of words. "Let me ride with you," she said. I hesitated. Instinct flinched. "Just that," she said. "Let me ride back to town with you." "Okay, okay." We collected our things and made the rounds of the students, saying our goodbyes. The students liked Carla. Everyone liked Carla, even when they didn't want to understand her. At the edge of the mesa, Idris and Silvano came to say goodbye. Silvano still had the rifle slung over his shoulder. "No hard feelings, Silvano," I said, offering my hand. He spat on the ground. "Nice," I thought. "Okay, rise above. Your name, Silvano, means forest." "And what if it does?" he demanded, his jaw jutting on the words. "I know it," I smiled, because an Italian friend of mine changed his name from Silvano to Forest. Forest Marconi. And I remember thinking that it's a beautiful name, in both languages. "What?" Silvano frowned. "I'm just saying, I have a friend, whose name is Silvano, and I like him very much. I'm sorry we got off on the wrong foot. I hope you'll accept my apology." "Well, yes, of course," Silvano agreed quickly, reaching out to accept my hand. There was no contest in it, and the young Italian smiled at me for the first time. "You speak Italian?" he asked. "I can swear, if it's required." Idris laughed. "You must come back, Lynn," he demanded. "You must hear my little talk on the animal nature and the human nature. You'll get a kick out of it. Maybe 2 kicks." Lightning forked a cobra strike through the black clouds. The teacher's face and body were illuminated for an instant with blue-silver light. "I'd like that," I replied, when the flashes of lightning had passed. "I'll make sure to bring my animal nature along. You're always most welcome." Abdullah, Carla and I made our way down the slopes, clinging to one another from time to time on slippery paths. At the gravel parking area, Abdullah used the phone. Waiting for him, I looked around at the brooding sky. We might not make it before the storm. It might hit us on the highway. With any luck, she grinned. "Say, that was a pretty fast turnaround back there with Silvano." "He's okay. It was my fault. I've got a lot on my mind." "Fuck you, Lynn. Why do you do that?" "What?" "Allude to things on your mind, but then never tell anyone what they are." "That's a glass house you're throwing stones at," I replied, but she was right, again, and I knew it. I wanted to tell her. It was all upside down. Lisa and I were lost. Ranjit was attracting bombers. I was leaving the Sanjay company. Wars had started between gangs and within them, and the only safe place in the city was somewhere else. "You should leave town for a while, Carla." "I should, too." "Not a chance of that yet, Shantaram," she laughed, and walked over to the small shop to talk with the attendant. Abdullah returned and spoke softly, his head close to mine. "Sanjay has paid everyone," he said. "There will be no trouble. But it is as I expected. I must go north to the brothers in Delhi for at least a week." "I must go tonight." "A week?" "Not a day less, out of the city." "I'm coming with you. You've got enemies in Delhi." "I have enemies everywhere," he said softly, lowering his eyes. "As I have friends. You cannot come with me. You will leave for Sri Lanka and complete your mission there, while this matter of the shooting at Leopold's is resolved." "Slow down, brother. I'm quitting the Sanjay company, remember? I told that to Sanjay, and..." "You what?" "I told Sanjay that you want to leave." "It should have been me who told him," I said, quietly angry. I know," he replied. "But I have to leave for Delhi, tonight. I will not be there, when you tell Sanjay, and that would be too dangerous without me." I decided to do it now, to see if his reaction presents any danger to you. Did it? Yes, and no. He was surprised, and very angry, but then he calmed down enough to say that if you complete this last mission for the company, he will allow you to leave. "What do you think, Lynn?" "That's all he said?" "He also said that if you had any family here, they would already be dead. And that he will throw you to the dogs, very happily, when your mission is completed." "Is that it?" "All but the cursing. He is a foul-mouthed man, and he will die cursing, inshallah." "When do they want me to leave?" "Tomorrow morning," he sighed. You take the train to Madras. Then you will leave by cargo ship for Trincomalee. Company men will be waiting at VT station tomorrow morning at 7. They will have all of your tickets and instructions. Sri Lanka, cargo ship, instructions. I took a deep breath and let it out slowly. Sri Lanka? You gave your word that you would do it. I did, and I regret it. After this mission, you will be free. It is a clean way out. I think it is wise for you to agree. I will not be able to remove Sanjay for some time, and this way, you will be safe. Okay, and Shala, let's ride. Wait, he said, leaning in close. In the next weeks of your life, my brother, you must walk and talk very carefully. You know me, I smiled. I do know you, he said solemnly. And I know the demon inside you. There are demons in all of us. Some of them do not mean us any harm. They just want to live inside us. Some of them want more. They want to eat the souls that hold them. You know, Abdullah, I'm not really same page with you on the demon thing. He looked at me for a while, wind-worried leaves drifting in his amber eyes. Hey, it's okay, I began, but he cut me off. I have heard you say that there are no bad or good men. That the deeds we do are good and bad, not the people who did them. It was Qadarbhai who said that, I replied, looking away. Because he heard it from Idris, Abdullah said quickly, and I looked back at him. Every wise thing Qadarbhai said, was first said by Idris. But in this, I do not agree with Idris or Qadarbhai or you. There are bad men in this world, Shantaram brother. And in the end, there is only one way to deal with them. He started his bike and rode away slowly, knowing I'd catch him. Carla joined me, and I kicked the bike to life. She got up behind me. That perfume, cinnamon, and pure oud. For a saddened second her hair was against my neck. The engine rumbled, warming. She leaned close, one arm over my right shoulder, and one under my left. Her word tattoo hand was on my chest. I heard the music, inside. Home. Home is the heart you're born to love. We rode gentle curves and slopes, as the shadow of the mountain that brought us together vanished in the praying hands of trees. I had to brake hard on the dark road to avoid a fallen branch. She fell into me softly and held me. I didn't know where her body ended, and I began. I didn't want to know. I pulled away at speed to make the steep climb over the next hill. She braced herself, her hands hard on me. At exactly the right moment her palms and fingers slid across my ribs to find my heart, and held me as we crested the last dome of trees. When we reached the main road I swung shakily, love clumsy, into fast clever traffic. A prodigal wind kissed her hair around my neck. And she clove to me, her starfish hand on my chest, as we rode through splashes of light streamed from desire, dying on billboards along the Stingray Tail Highway home. Chapter 30. That was a long goodbye, Carla said, watching Abdullah ride away from the wide space in front of the Mahesh Hotel. It was a long ride, I said. Yeah, but, Abdullah, emotional. That's not something you see every day. What can I tell you, Carla? What you can tell me is what you're not telling me. Khalid's money will buy many guns, Abdullah had whispered to me in goodbye. It wasn't especially emotional. It's complicated, I said. Still not telling me. She was still sitting behind me on the bike. In one hand she held the bag that Abdullah had carried for her on his bike. The other hand was on my hip. For once, I was glad to be on the other hand. You know, I said happily, I like this. Still not telling me. But I really do like this. What? Sitting here, on the bike, and having a conversation with you like this. We're not having a conversation. Technically, I think we are. Not telling me something doesn't qualify as any kind of conversation, technically or otherwise. Maybe it's a reverse conversation. There's a forward step. There was a little pause. The space around us was clear and free. The storm had passed, and fresh monsoon winds cooled the coast behind us. You know, it really is damn nice, talking to you like this, I gotta say. Since you gotta say it, does the bike have to be a part of the conversation? I turned the bike off. So, what is it about this you like so much? She asked. That we're sitting so close, or that I can't see your face? It's because I can't see your face. And, because we're sitting so close. I thought so. Hey, wait a minute. My face is the problem? Your eyes, actually, I said, watching people, cars and horse-drawn carriages passing back and forth in front of the hotel. My eyes, huh? I felt her voice everywhere that her body touched mine. If I can't see your eyes, it's like we're playing chess, and you just lost your queen. Is that so? Oh yeah. And I'm powerless and defenseless? Not defenseless. But there's definitely some lessness here. Lessness? The opposite of moreness. And that turns you on? Kinda. Because you like lessness in a woman? Of course not. It's because looking at you is like we're playing chess, and I've got 1 queen, and you've got 4 queens, 8 queens, 16 queens. I've got 16 queens in the game? Oh yeah. All green. 16 green queens. And I can't see any of them right now, in this bike talk. And I love it. It's liberating. There was a pause. It didn't last long. This is the quality of your motorcycle conversation? It's just a fact. A recently discovered fact, in fact. For now, sitting here like this, all your queens are locked in a box, Carla, and I'm loving it. You're messed up, you know that? Oh yeah. My eyes are nothing, she said after a while, some puzzle in her voice. Well, your eyes, and the heart behind them, are everything to me. She thought about it, maybe. No, my will is everything. She repeated the last word, as if pushing it from her body. Everything. I'm with you and Idris on will, but it's the direction it takes that interests me. She rested her forearms on my back. When you were in prison, she asked slowly, did you ever lose your will? Does getting chained to a wall and kicked unconscious count? Maybe. But when it happened, did you ever lose your will? Did they ever take your will from you? I thought about it for a while. Once again, I wasn't sure where she was leading the conversation, or whether I'd like it when we got there. But her big question had a small answer. Yeah, you could say that. For a while. I had my will taken from me, too, she said. I'd rather kill than let that happen again. I killed the man who did it to stop it from happening to some other me, somewhere else. I'll never let anyone take my will again. The rebel yell. You'll never take me alive. I love you, Carla. She was silent, even her breathing soundless. Did that freak you out? I asked after a while, staring ahead at the moving street. Of course not. Honesty is my only addiction. She moved away from me, resting on her hands, and was silent again. This bike talk is fun, I said after a while. You gotta admit. Then try holding up your end of the conversation. It's tumbleweeds back here, Shantaram. Okay, here goes. You talked about Ranjit on the mountain. I didn't say much then, but now that we're bike talking, I have a question. Why doesn't Ranjit, who must keep living for a few months, just sell up and take you a long way from anywhere? He told you about the bomb, didn't he? What did he tell you? He said you told him to fire the chauffeur. You were right, by the way. The guy was crooked. Ranjit went to a lot of trouble, asking me not to tell you, and then he went home and told you all about it. He's a politician. Politics isn't lying. It's the art of knowing who's lying. That still doesn't answer the question. Why doesn't he take the money and run? He's a rich man. She laughed, surprising me, because I couldn't read her face, and because I didn't think any part of it was funny. You can't run away from the game, Lynn, she said. I like this conversation. What are we talking about? Wherever you find it, she said, leaning in close, her breath on my neck. Whatever it looks like, when you find the game that hooks you, there's nowhere else you can be. Am I right? Are we talking about Ranjit, or Carla? We're both players. I don't like games. You know that. Some games might be worth the play. Like being king of Bombay, for instance? I felt the tension move through her as she pushed away again. How do you know that? He's ambitious, I said. It shows. He has enemies. She was silent for a while, and I had no clue to her thoughts. Bike talking had its drawbacks. Ranjit's an imitation good guy, she said, in a cast of genuine bad guys. An imitation good guy? They're usually the ones who give genuine bad guys a bad name. Bad guys do a pretty good job of that on their own, she replied, laughing a little. Why play games, Carla? Get out of this, now. I game, because I'm good at it. I game good. Walk away. If Ranjit's so determined to be political, you've gotta be the one to walk away. Is this about Ranjit and me, or about you and me? This is about you. If we weren't doing bike talk, I probably wouldn't be able to say it at all. Not to your eyes. I don't like what's going on. I don't think Ranjit has any right to put you at risk. No ambition's worth that. I'll buy a bike, she said, leaning close again, and smiling on my back. You'll teach me to ride. I mean it, Carla. He's rattling the unfriendly cage. Sooner or later, whatever's inside the cage is gonna get out. Why are we talking about this? It's like this. Ranjit can do politics, and I'll ask friends to watch out for him, but you don't have to be Ranjit's wife here. You can be Ranjit's wife a long way away from here. In London, for example. London? A lot of Indian wives escape to London. But I'm a Bombay girl, yar. What would I do in London? You're also American and Swiss and a lot of other nice places. You could set up a house in London for Ranjit, with Ranjit's money, and hope he rarely visits it. Make it cool. Bombay cool. But make it so you can walk away, and never look back. And I'm still asking, what would I do there? You'd keep a low profile. And you'd use any extra money to make money for yourself, until you don't need anyone else's extra money anymore. Yeah. The real reason why so many people want to be rich is because they want to be free. Freedom means that you don't need anyone else's money. How does that work again? She asked, laughing. Maybe you shave your lifestyle, save some money, and put a down payment on a house for yourself. You're smart. In no time, you'll turn one house into 5. My lifestyle? What do I know? But whatever you do in London or anywhere would be safer than what you're doing here, with Ranjit. Someone's gonna hit him, and hit him hard, because he won't shut up, and his political ambitions are making people nervous. Hell, I want to hit him, and I hardly even know him. His mouth is what put him in the game. That's his table stake. If he wins this fight, his face will be on the political poster of his choice. He'll get elected, too. I'm sure of it. And anyway, why the hell should he shut up, when he's right? It's not safe for you, that's why. Let me tell you a little something about safety, she murmured, her face against the pillow of my back. Safety is a cave, a nice warm cave, but the light is where the adventure is. Carla, I said, careful not to move, you've got no idea how cool this is, listening to you, but not seeing you. You're such an ass, she said, not moving. No, really, it's just great. And I was listening. I heard every word. Look, in my view, but who am I? The right woman is a big enough dream. If a guy wants a whole city, there's something wrong with him. Less wrong than you, or more wrong than you, on a scale of you? She laughed. You can't go back home, I said firmly, my hands tight on the handlebars, because you don't know what's waiting for you. And you can't stay here, because you do know what's waiting for you. I was glad she couldn't see my face, and glad she didn't pull away. Look, you're probably on a most wanted list, Carla. And I'm definitely most wanted. We're who we are, and who we are has no place in lives of public ambition. It's bad for them, and it's a lot worse for us if it falls down, and they're looking for someone to blame for it. I'm okay, she murmured. I know exactly what I'm doing. I don't want to think of something happening to you, Carla. Ranjit's making me think of it. A lot. I don't like him for it. One way or another, this guy puts himself on everybody's hurt list. Have mercy. Send me a postcard from London, and give me some peace of mind. Mercy, she said softly. My favorite inessential virtue. I think you've done this motorcycle talk before. I was right about this, wasn't I? It's damn cool. It's okay, she murmured. Is it my turn now? Your turn? Yeah. For motorcycle talk? Yeah. Sure. Talk away, I said confidently, not careful what I wished for. She nestled in tighter, her lips close. Are you ready? Ready for what? You don't need coffee or a joint. I'm good. I'm so good. Okay, she said. Gimme a dramatic pause. But, shut up. You're dramatic pausing. There was a dramatic pause. That, truly, fucking, transcendent ride home, she said at last, murmuring the words onto my skin, was a rip through space and time, baby. When you crashed down 2 gears and gunned it, passing between the passenger bus and the water tanker, my soul left my body. When we slid the closing gap and roared through, a voice in my head said, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh God, all the way home. She stopped and stopped my heart. How am I doing here, Shantaram, without all of my queens? Fine. She was doing fine. I turned in the saddle until I could see a corner of her face. I thought you didn't believe in God, Carla, I smiled. Who are we to believe in God? She said, her lips only lashes from my face. It should be enough for anyone that God believes in us. We could have kissed. We should have kissed. I'm thinking that I have to talk to Lisa, I said, words cutting my own throat. Are you thinking that you have to talk to Ranjit? She drew away slowly, until shadows took her face. I turned to the front again. She didn't say anything, so I spoke. I have to talk to her. Well, you can do that here, she said quietly. What do you mean? Lisa's here, at the hotel. Gemini and Scorpio are throwing a party, in the penthouse suite. They've taken the whole floor, in fact. Tonight's the official housewarming. Everyone in town is up there. That's why the limos are prowling. That's why I asked you to drop me here. But, why didn't you mention this before? Why didn't you know? It was a good question. I couldn't answer it. Are you going? I asked her, still staring ahead. I was going to ask you to be my door date. Ranjit isn't here? Ranjit is otherwise detained, this evening. A monthly meeting with the city council. Didier agreed days ago to walk me out, and have a drink with me at home. But I'd like you to walk me in. Are you up for it? I wanted to see Lisa, and know that she was safe. I wanted to see Didier for a report about the fallout from the shooting at Leopold's. Good reasons to go. But I was afraid of spending more time with Carla. I hadn't seen her for 2 years, but she'd been as close to me on the ride home to the island city as wings on my back. And it was Carla, so there wasn't an easy way to anything. She wanted to keep her husband alive for at least a few months more. It was cold-blooded, but I didn't care. She'd been hurt, and she hurt back, but I knew there was nothing bad in her, just as I knew that she wouldn't harm Ranjit or anyone else without reason. She was too strong for the world she knew, and I loved that about her, and I thought that if I looked at her again, I wouldn't have the courage to leave her side. I'd be honored to escort you to the party, Carla, I said, staring straight ahead. I'd be honored to accompany you, Shantaram. Let's get moving. I want to see if you dance like you ride, or ride like you dance. Chapter 31. I parked the bike under the shelter at the entrance to the hotel, and when I turned to look at her, all 16 queens stared back at me. I froze. Are you okay? Sure, why? You look like somebody stood on your foot, she said. No, I'm fine. Sure? Yeah, I said, glancing away from Checkmate. I'm good. Okay, let's go to the party. There'll be plenty of people to stand on our feet there. We crossed the lobby, found a lucky elevator, and pressed for the penthouse. Every time an elevator door closes on me, she said, as the elevator doors closed, I want a drink. The doors opened on a drinking party, already bumpy happy. Guests had spilled from crowded suites into the corridor, where they sat in groups or stumbled back and forth, laughing and shouting. We made our way inside and found Gemini George, dancing with Didier to music just loud enough to ruin a shout. Didier had a table cover over his head and was holding the edge in his teeth, as a woman might with her shawl. Lynn, Carla, rescue me. I am watching an Englishman dance. I am in pain. French git, Gemini called back, laughing happily. He was having, quite literally, the time of his life. Come, Lynn, Carla, Dance with me, Didier shouted. I'm looking for Lisa. I called back. Have you seen her? Not recently, Didier replied, frowning questions of his own at me, then at Carla, then at me again. That is to say, not recently. Carla leaned in close to kiss him on the cheek. I kissed him on the other cheek. Hey, I'm having some of that. Gemini shouted, offering his cheek to Carla, who obliged with a kiss. I'm so glad to see you both. Didier shouted. Likewise. Got a minute, Didier? Certainly. I left Carla with Gemini and followed Didier back into the hallway. We crossed the corridor stream on patches of bare carpet, stepping over flowing groups of people smoking, drinking, and laughing out their other selves. Didier opened the door to one of the adjoining suites with a key and led me inside. Some of these party people know no boundaries, he said, locking the door behind him. The main room was well appointed but untouched. There was a tray on the writing desk, brandy and 2 glasses. Didier gestured with the brandy bottle. No, thanks. But I'll smoke a joint with you if you've got one. Lynn, he gasped. When have you ever known Didier not to have one? He poured himself a thumb of brandy, selected a slender joint from a polished brass cigarette case, lit it, and passed it to me. As I smoked, he raised his glass in a toast. To battles lived, he said, drinking a sip. How's Lisa? She is very well. She is happy, I think. Where is she now? She stayed with me until just a few hours ago, he replied, drinking the measure of brandy. She said she was returning to your apartment. How bad was it, after Abdullah and I left? Well, I wouldn't go back to Leopold's for a while, even with my influence. My thoughts went back to the fight at Leopold's, Concannon cracking the lead sap into the fallen Sikh head waiter. Dhirendra took a beating. He's a good man. How is he? He recuperates. Leopold's is not the same without him, but we must go on. Anyone else get hurt? A few, he sighed. What about the cops? Lightning Dilip rounded up all the witnesses who had any money, myself included, and fined us all. What about the street? From what I know, nobody's talking about this. It died in the newspapers after the first day. I think. Carla used her influence with Ranjit to kill the story, as they say. And those who are not scared of the Sanjay company are scared of the Scorpions. It is quiet now, but it cost Sanjay a lot of money, I am sure. A lot of people had to piss on this fire. I'm sorry you got dragged into this, Didier. And in Leopold's, of all places. It's sacred ground. Didier is never dragged, he sniffed, even when he is unconscious. He freely marches, or he is transported. Still. An American friend of mine has a saying, for occasions like this. It's a mess, but we didn't make it. Yes, it's a mess, but Concannon made it happen. The question is, what are we going to do about it? Got any ideas? My first impulse is that we should kill him. I love you, Didier. I love you, too, Lynn. So we will kill him, yes? No, that was a no. I'm traveling tomorrow. I'll be away for a week, maybe a day or 2 more, and we'll work this out somehow, when I get back. We'll have to find a way without killing anybody, Didier. As solutions go, he mused, killing is a winning hand. Anything less, at this point, is only bluff. Concannon's a man. There must be a way to reach him. Through his chest, Didier observed. With an axe. But I suppose you're right. We should be aiming higher. The head, perhaps? I've spoken to him, I've listened to him. I met a dozen Concannons with a dozen different faces in prison. I'm not saying I like him. I'm saying that if he was born into a different life, Concannon could be an amazing man. In his own way, he already is an amazing man. There must be a way to reach him and stop all of this. Men like Concannon don't change, Lynn, he said, letting out a gust of sighs. And the proof is very simple. Did you change when you went to prison? Did you change when you joined the company? In your true self, deep inside yourself, did you change? Are you not the man you always were? Didier, you are. You did not change. You could not change, and neither do the Concannons of this world. They are born to harm and destroy, Lynn, until time or temper stops them. And now that this one wants to harm and destroy us, The kindest thing we can do is to kill him, take the karmic burden on ourselves, and hope that the good we cause, by saving the world all the future harm this man will do, if he lives, is enough to save our souls for a better incarnation. Although I cannot think of a better incarnation than the one you see before you, so I would only ask that Didier may come back as Didier is, and do it all again. Just don't do anything until I get back, okay? We'll talk first, then we'll do whatever else we have to do, okay? In the meantime, watch Lisa for me, while I'm away. When I see her, I'll try to talk her into going to Goa for a while, but we both know Lisa. Not a chance, he shrugged. I know. She's a clever fox, my friend, he said. And she knows what she wants, and how to get it. Look after her for me, until I get back. Ask Naveen to give you whatever time he can spare from Divya, if you need extra eyes. I'll speak to him, if I can find him. I need no help, of course, but I have come to like Naveen, Didier said thoughtfully. I like him, too. You make a good team, the two of you. Speaking of teams, I'd like to join you, Didier, when I get back, if you still want me. Lin, you mean, to work together? We'll talk about it when I get back. But, you're leaving the Sanjay company? I am. I did. You did? Sanjay let you go? After this job, I have Sanjay's blessing. Actually, I think he's glad to see me leave. You are not afraid to disagree with him. There are only two kinds of leaders, those who welcome the truth, and those who despise it. Sanjay is a despiser, I am afraid. That he is, I smiled. I am very happy to hear you are leaving him. Are you happy? I am. Just keep an eye on Lisa. I will, and with pleasure. Shall we head back to the others? Yes. This is wonderful news, Lin, and it calls for celebration. But what? You and Carla. What, me and Carla? There's no me and Carla. Lin, this is Didier. No fleeting suspicion of love is hidden from Didier. I saw you together. I know everything. Forget Carla. I can, if you can, he said, a half-worried smile confusing his face. Whatever you do, I am with you. Thanks, brother, I said, sharing a hug that pressed his curly hair into my face. We made our way back to Carla and Gemini. Carla looked from Didier to me, and then back again, smiling just enough condescension to put a bite in her affection. Two young foreign girls, carrying drinks in each hand, danced their way up to Didier and Gemini, who took the drinks, still dancing. Are you with someone? One of the girls asked Gemini. I'm with myself, Gemini replied. I don't know if that qualifies. I'm Gemini. What's your name then? Hey, the girl shouted back. I'm a Gemini, too. That's great, you'll get this. What did one Gemini say to the other? What? Nothing. The other Gemini already left. They laughed, spilling wine and bumping together. Carla and I made our way through party sway to shout at friends as we were shouted unto, until we found the deserted bar. Nice bar, Carla said, greeting the bartender. Free, well-stocked and empty. Welcome, the barman said. I'd shoot 3 men for a glass of champagne, Carla said, waving an elegant wrist. Certainly, ma'am, the bartender replied. And for sir? Plain soda, no ice, I said. How's it been, tonight? At the end of the road, there are only 2 questions, the bartender said, inscrutably, preparing the drinks. What did I do? And what did I miss? Unless, I offered, the last question is, who the hell turned off my life support? Life is short, the tall young bartender said, easing the cork from the bottle with a fist. But made of long nights. That's why it's so lonely at the top, Carla put in. It's lonely at the top, he replied quickly, filling Carla's glass, because it's so crowded at the bottom. What's your name? Carla asked, laughing. Randall, ma'am. Randall, she said, accepting the glass. This is Lynn, I'm Carla, and I couldn't agree with you more. Where's your family place? My parents are from Goa, he said, handing me the soda. But I'm from here. We're from here too, for as long as here lasts, I said. What's with the one-liners, Randall? It's not that interesting a story, he replied. Why don't you let us judge that, Randall? Carla suggested. Well, at first, I used to talk, he said, washing a glass. I used to ask questions. Are you here on a business trip? Do you have any kids? Why do you think your wife doesn't understand you? But, after a while, I started breaking my part of the conversation down into little pieces of the truth. Barmen never get more than a line or two. It's a narrative rule, I'm afraid. Am I boring you folks? No, we said together. So, I don't converse anymore. I'm making this exception, tonight, because my shift has ended and because I like you. I liked both of you, from the moment you walked in. And when I like something, I'm never wrong about it. Nice talent to have up your sleeve, Carla smiled. Go on, about the one-liners. Most of the time, I prune the conversation tree. It's all bonsai. It's all punchlines now. And it's better that way, in little pieces of the truth. It's like a code, the truth. When people hear it, the doors unlock. Randall, Carla said, her eyes gleaming colored glass, if you stop conversing, I'll never darken this joint again. A refill, if you please. He poured 2 fresh glasses of champagne and another long soda. My replacement hasn't arrived, but my shift was officially over half an hour ago, so I'd like to join you folks in a toast, he said, offering Carla the champagne and the soda to me. May words never fail you. Can't drink to that, because words never fail, she said quickly. This is the first toast that Shantaram and I have shared in 2 years, Randall, and I think this is a fated meeting. Let's make this toast to the 3 of us. I moved to clink glasses with them, but she swerved away from me. No. It's bad luck to toast with water, she said. Oh, come on. I'm serious. You're kidding, right? Just because you don't believe it, that's no reason to mess with it, Lynn. Do you need any more bad luck? You've got me there. I always get you there. A newcomer to the bar bumped Carla into me, and our glasses clashed together anyway. Looks like we've done that toast after all, I said. She stared at me from a hard frown for a moment, but then she smiled again. Okay, she said, make another toast, without drinking water yourself. That should keep us safe. To green eyes, may they always be protected. I'll certainly drink to that, Randall said, sipping champagne. To green queens, she said, smiling light at me. She raised her glass, took a small sip, and stared back at me. It was the moment to break through, and we both knew it. It was perfect. Lynn. Vincent said, bouncing against me and slapping his long, strong fingers onto my back, Ranve at his side. Good to see you, man. I was still looking at Carla. She was looking at me. Vincent, I said, the voice in my ears sounding like something hard, breaking. I don't think you've met. This is Carla. Carla, this is Stuart Vincent. And this is Ranve, like the thing at the airport. Say, Carla, Vincent shouted. I'm damn glad to finally meet you. It won't do any good, Carla replied, playing it straight. It won't? Vincent smiled, already confused. No, anything you heard is out of date. Out of, what? I reinvented myself. Vincent laughed. Oh, wow. Like, when did this happen? It's happening now, Carla said, holding his gaze. Try to keep up. My heart stumbled like a drunk dancing. God, I loved her. There was no one like her. Then she turned to the girl, Ranve, and asked her if she was okay. I looked at the girl. She wasn't okay. She's fine, Vincent said, clapping an arm around her. Ranve's face was drawn and pale. I told her, Vincent continued, I said, hey, you've been through a lot. Time to get out and see people, have a few laughs, you know? The best medicine, they say. He hugged her to him, shaking her. Her arms flapped at her sides. How you doing, kid? I asked. She looked up quickly, ice chips glittering in her blue eyes. I'm not a kid, she snapped. Oh, Kay. Don't take it personally, Carla said. He's a writer. He thinks he's older than his grandfather. That's pretty funny, Vincent laughed. And as for you, Carla said. Let that girl out of your armpit, right now. Surprised, Vincent allowed Carla to peel Ranve away from him. Randall, Carla said, I know you're off duty, but this in an emergency. I want your cleanest glasses and your dirtiest jokes, and make it snappy. Your command is my wish, ma'am, Randall said, glasses like eels swimming in his hands. How about that? Vincent mumbled. She stole my girl. She's your girl now? Oh, man, he said, turning a big, open-mouthed smile on me. I told you, didn't I, back there at the station house? I told you she was the one. I'm crazy about her. She's really something, isn't she? My heart beats faster every time I look at her. She's been in a plane crash, I said. A plane? But, what? You know what I mean. She woke up a few days ago with a dead boyfriend in the bed. That's a big fire to put out. Go easy, man. Oh, sure. I mean, like, hey, wait a minute. You don't think I'm taking advantage of her situation, do you? I'm not that kinda guy. I know. I haven't put a hand on her. I know. I wouldn't do that. I know. I'm not that kinda guy, he said again gruffly. I was suddenly